Hi, my name is William Fernandez and welcome to my channel Psyche and Arts. The Wolves of Cromer. It's an English movie directed by Will Gold. The first time I watched this film, I had no idea what to expect. That's why I was pleasantly surprised to discover something truly original. Narrated by no one other than Boy George, the film drifts between the poetic and the fantastical, but its central theme is the bitterness of those who cannot cope with changes, or the freedom of others. The visuals were melancholic and beautiful, which only enhances the gentleness and the allure of the protagonists. If you're looking for something out of the ordinary, here's a tip. Lose yourself in the mists of Kroger.
It's love.
The Boy in the Wind is a Brazilian movie that kind of flew under the radar for a lot of folks who usually enjoy more offbeat films. It was produced and directed by Carlos Hugo Christensen. In case you haven't heard of him, Christensen was an Argentinian director who made Brazil his home and passed away in Rio de Janeiro in 1999. The guy was a genius and incredibly prolific. Some of his films, like If I Should Die Before I Wake and Never Open That Door, were even featured in the 2016 exhibition at New York's Museum of Modern Art. In The Boy and the Wind, he brings his signature style, mysterious characters, scenic landscapes, and symbolism. Like many artists working during Brazil's dictatorship, Christensen learned into symbolism as a way to sneak past the censors. And let's be honest, dictators are not exactly known for being sharp, so this trick usually worked. This movie is a living proof of that. It's a dark, sometimes even odd film. The wind acts as a symbol of freedom, blowing against the bitterness of the unloved and the ever-present conservatives, always ready with their opinions and judgments. Nine Dead Gay Guys is a British film hardly anyone's heard of. It might be the silliest pick in our list. Plain silly, but also widely controversial, since it lit the very short fuse of the politically correct patrol. The plot? Not much. Two long-time straight Irish buddies dive into London's gay nightlife looking to cash in by hooking up with older wealthy men. The title doesn't lie. It's exactly what it sounds like. The language is crude and the cliches spill out everywhere. At the first glance, it seems like just another over-the-top comedy, right? Wrong. The filmmakers actually know London's gay scene really well, and they're clearly playing with tropes they're totally familiar with. And what about straight guys who go around giving blowjobs? Yeah, the joke isn't just on the gay community. A major highlight is the legendary Stephen Burkoff, who delivers a killer performance. Now, brace yourself for the musical cues. Handel's Hallelujah to emphasize grandeur? Beethoven's Fifth for suspense? Really? Total cheese. But if you can get past those clunky sound choices, what you are left with is a tasteless, twisted, absurd comedy with a bunch of plot twists, and somehow, weirdly enough, it's kind of innocent. Feels almost like a love letter to John Waters.
And that's an 11. Anything in between was big enough and classy enough.
Interior Lethal Bar. Interior, bar de couro. Dos poucos filmes vindo dos Estados Unidos dessa lista é um pseudo-documentário que segue a tradição de James Franco de provocar desconforto e reflexão. Nessa obra, ele lança mais uma provocação artística que abalou as opiniões, inclusive dos seus próprios admiradores. O ponto de partida é o filme Cruising, de 1980, dirigido por William Friedkin. Sim, o mesmo diretor de O Exorcista, e estrelado por Al Pacino. Para não receber a classificação indicativa de impróprio para menores, ou filme só para adultos, Cruising teve que eliminar e destruir cerca de 40 minutos de material considerado polêmico. James Franco e Travis Matthews imaginaram o que poderia ter sido essas cenas perdidas.
Our
reimagined idea of it. So it's a little bit.
O filme alterna entre supostas cenas recriadas e uma espécie de documentário que revela os bastidores da produção, incluindo a participação relutante do ator Val Lauren. A recepção não foi exatamente calorosa. Críticas, ofensas e os já esperados cancelamentos vieram à tona. Que surpresa, não é mesmo? Uma obra ousada e inovadora que não agrada o gosto popular acaba sendo tratada como uma ofensa pessoal. Sim, o filme é explícito e repleto de situações de exploração sexual entre homens adultos. Ao mesmo tempo, é costurado por diálogos extensos e densos. Dá para ser mais peculiar? Em certa medida, trata-se de uma quebra de paradigmas, e por isso só merece ser assistido com a mente aberta.
Every fucking love story is a dude that wants to be with a girl.
This Portuguese film, O Fantasma, The Phantom, already popped up here in the channel in my video of the most sensual movies. And here it is again. Because yes, sometimes it can be sexy and totally weird at the same time. That's exactly what this original film by the director João Pedro Rodrigues pulls off. You can tell it was made on a tight budget, but honestly what makes it cool is the unexpected. It's packed with fetish vibes, strange symbolism, and a little touch of kink. What really grabs you is that the story doesn't follow the usual path, and when it happens, you never know what's coming next. Ricardo Menezes plays a garbage man who becomes obsessed with a swimmer, and the movie takes you straight into those off-limit corners of fantasy. It's weird, bold, sometimes even a bit gross. But still, O Fantasma stands out for something totally unique. The Austrian movie Neverland took me by surprise, and continues to do so every time I've revisited it. It's an unsettling piece, but in the best possible way. Centered around a character undergoing a period of severe anxiety, the film is certainly not easy to digest. The visual effects and the art direction heighten the atmosphere of unease, contributing to a cinematic experience that is deeply disturbing. With a carefully selected cast, the film is led by Simon Fruvet and Paul Foreman. It's a bold, surprising, and definitely unconventional work.
Probably because it's a naked dude.
Sebastiani. The British filmmaker Derek Jarman consistently brought to the screen his poetic irreverence, rich in symbolism and sensuality. His films, shaped by a unique and provocative language, were often met with suspicion by the academic circles, which today, let's face it, seem to include about everyone as long as the work is considered strange. Sebastiani does not escape this kind of superficial criticism, yet it delivers a film that is both profound and beautiful. Inspired by the figure of Saint Sebastian from the Christian Catholic mythology, the film offers a fantastical narrative that portrays the pains and pleasures of a group of Roman soldiers, almost always half naked, and when dressed, barely so. Jarman also adds an unusual element. The entire film is spoken in Latin. Looking for a true cinematic work of art filled with sensuality, cruelty, and more than a touch of the bizarre? Then Sebastiani is certainly worth your attention. Death in Venice is the adaptation of the novel Der Tod in Venedig by the German author Thomas Mann, published in 1912. Mann certainly had no intention of writing a book to appeal to a gay niche. His work deals, above all, with profound human conflicts. One of these conflicts, incidentally, is the obsessive attraction that Dick Bogart's character develops for the young boy portrayed by Bjorn Andresen, who was described by Variety as the most beautiful boy in the world. A combination of factors, including the title and the overwhelming attention it brought, contributed to the premature decline of his career. The director Lutino Visconti, on the other hand, enjoyed a successful career. His early work was censored by the fascists for being considered subversive, but he prevailed. Death in Venice is the second part of what became known as his German trilogy, which also includes Ludwig and The Damned. The film is filled with subtle visual cues and internal conflicts, hallmarks of Italian neorealism, and stands as a unique piece within the genre, a must-see for any true lover of cinema. Rope. This film by the British director Alfred Hitchcock is quite clearly not officially recognized as a work with a gay context. After all, no American film from the 1960s would have survived such a label, yet the story speaks for itself. The plot centers around a pair of men, I would say a couple of men, who, inspired by Nietzschean philosophy, decide to carry out a deeply disturbing experiment. They murder a man and then invite his closest friends over for dinner, served on a table set directly on top of the hidden corpse. Could it get more original than that? Yes, it can. Beyond its unsettling premise, Hitchcock crafts the entire film as if it were a single continuous take, interrupted only by the technical need to change film reels. The result is a master class in direction, writing, acting, and production. It's a work that draws its power from elegant simplicity, captivating us, taking our breath away, and leaving us disoriented. At some point, we no longer know if we are rooting for the villains or the heroes, if such a role even exists. A timeless classic that simply must be seen.
The power to kill can be just as satisfying as the power to create.
Speaking of peculiarity, here's a film that goes well beyond the ordinary. The Mexican Rotting in the Sun. And it's not because of its explicit scenes, but due to the freshness it brings in how it portrays its characters. The film offers a bold, new take on the lives of contemporary gay men, approached both with honesty and irreverence. Directed by the avant-garde Chilean filmmaker Sebastián Silva, who also stars in the film alongside Jordan Firstman, the actors are supposedly playing versions of themselves. While the story carries a tragic undertone, it's humor, free from moralism or simplistic oppositions, that drives the film's unlikely relationships and surprising good moments.
You can't hurt me, because I'm happy. I'm a happy clown.
Derek Jarman returns with Caravaggio. As the title suggests, it is inspired by the life and work of the famous Italian painter. But the film goes way beyond historical facts, which clearly weren't Derek Jarman's main focus. When you experience the art of a genius like Caravaggio, it feels like you are being taken to another place. Maybe not the one the artist imagined, but somewhere personal, where what you see mixes with who you are. Jarman brings that feeling to the screen. You watch the movie without even noticing the director, the actors, or the filmmaking itself. You are just pulled straight into the paintings and into the stories of desire, power, and manipulation behind them, all told with intensity by a brilliant cast.
Why did you paint the flesh so green?
I've been ill all summer, Excellency.
The Canadian film Lilies may not top the list, but it is undoubtedly one of my personal favorites in this video. It might not be as peculiar as some of the other titles mentioned, but I was determined to include it, and this seemed like the most fitting context. Though the storyline may feel familiar or somewhat overused, the film stands out thanks to its refined aesthetic language and, most of all, its exceptional cast. The plot begins with a seemingly straightforward premise. A bishop visits a prison to hear a confession of an old friend, However, he is unexpectedly compelled to watch a theatrical performance that lays bare long buried lines, betrayals, and crimes. All the roles, including the female characters, are played by men, as the story unfolds entirely within a male prison. Yet the film transcends the theatrical frame, blending stage performance with vivid reenactments that bring the past to life. Lily is a delicate, visually beautiful film that is easy to watch and, at the same time, deeply original.
One can be in love, jealous, insane, tyrannical, possessed.
When I first watched The Power of the Dog, I was really shaken by how raw the emotions were and how much tension the film holds from start to finish. I was also amazed by how Jane Campion turned Thomas Savage's novel into such a deep, unique script. That's when you know you are watching a great movie. You are not thinking about the costumes, the acting, or the set design. You are just fully into it, and the film takes over. On my second watch, I started to notice the visual beauty and how emotionally complex the characters were, all of them dealing with intense inner struggles. Benedict Cumberbatch plays a guy full of repressed emotions, dragging us into some really dark places. Then you have Cody Smith McPhee, who brings this calm, gentle energy that balances it out. And Kirsten Dunst is just as powerful, showing moments of deep vulnerability and emotion.
I can't seem to play.
All of Us Strangers. Acclaimed director Andrew Hay, already known for Weekend and Looking, delivers yet another masterpiece with the adaptation of Strangers. The film guides us to the deep terrain of loss, guilt, and unconscious. Andrew Scott and Paul Mescal deliver extraordinary visceral performances that take us to the very core of questions about clarity, reality, and the pain of simply being. The cast is further enriched by powerful performances from Jamie Bell and Claire Foy. At the top of our list is Queer. Let's not forget that the word queer, before it assumed a more political meaning like it has today, it was a term used by straight people to refer to gay men. But over the years, the insult has been adopted by the gay male community as a form of mockery. It tops our list, not only for its distinctive qualities, but also for being without a doubt one of the best films released in 2024. In an interview with IMDb, Italian director Luca Guadagnino said he does not like when people claim he has a distinct style. Well, but his style is all over his films, and that's a good thing. You can see it in the way he leads actors into natural, deeply emotional performances, in the visually striking and symbolic imaginary, and how the settings are fully integrated into the story, never just a background decoration. And, of course, there is the touch of voyeurism, something that he explored already in Call Me By Your Name and I Am Love. Queer brings all of that together and adds, like in Suspiria, a unique layer of symbolic horror. While this aspect reflects the personal life of the book's author, William S. Burroughs, the story speaks to everyone because it's told in the most universal language there is, the human experience. Daniel Craig gave us a stunning performance as a tragic character constantly on the edge, something that demands total emotional commitment and a lot of skill. The entire production is remarkable, with special praise for its set design. Dozens of miniatures were meticulously crafted to recreate 1950s Mexico and Panama, delivering a cinematic experience rich in atmosphere, texture, and visual beauty. The cast also features the notable presence of English veteran Leslie Manville. Jason Schwartzman is another great surprise, with a strong and memorable role. It's a melancholic film, sometimes tense, definitely strange, and undeniably beautiful. It speaks to what it means to simply exist, and it does with striking honesty.
Can we grab a drink? I'd rather stay here and take pictures.